It says right here, Mr. Beast uploaded 455 videos before going viral, and that Picasso also created 2,000 artworks before the world even recognized his genius. Did you know the Beatles, that they were rejected by 4+ record labels before revolutionizing music? And they played hundreds and hundreds of shows. Look at here, right here. Disney turned 300 rejections into the most magical brand on earth. Right? One of my favorites is Colonel Standards. He pitched KFC 1,009 times before finding success. And he was in his late 50s, early 60s while he was still chasing after his dream. And I share all this because in this video I want to cover, 4 different methods that you can use to go viral on Spotify, but you really need to tap into your why and understand that rejection is part of this journey, all right? But if you can tap into your why, you'll figure out anyhow. My name's Chris, also known as the Artist Manifest. I have about 500,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. We had a song in the Super Bowl last year and also the Olympics, and I'm the creator of the Spotify 5-Day Challenge. Let's jump into this video. So the first method I want to cover today is playlist placements. And these aren't just for Spotify, but they're also for YouTube. But this is why you've got to submit your songs to the Spotify editorial playlist via Spotify Artist Dashboard, okay? And it's not so much whether you get the editorial playlist, it's that you trigger the release radar so fans get notified. Right? But then it's not just the editorial playlist and the algorithmic, it's the independent playlist curators. And if you're an artist with less than 10,000 monthly listeners, you want to be getting on all playlists you possibly can. Whether you're pitching it through a Submit Hub, a Groover, a Playlist Push, right? And trying to get on these independent playlists, or you're hitting up independent playlists yourself, right? And so you want to make sure you're getting as many streams as possible because people find playlists and they listen again and again. It's like their go-to. But then not only just relying on the editorial, the algorithmic, or independent playlists, but creating your own. And this is one thing that we really encourage my students to do, is having a playlist that you control, whether it's this is your artist name. So for me, it would be This Is Manifest, or a genre-based playlist, right? Like I have Verses with a Purpose. I also have Rage Against the Silence. I got my hip hop and my rock metal playlists that are more genre, and I add other, artist songs on there as well too when they pitch them through Submit Hub or Playlist Push if it's a good fit, right? And so not only do I promote my songs, right? And they get thousands of streams every single month. And this is why artists want to get on those playlists, right? So coming from someone who's a curator and also an artist, this has helped me to trigger the algorithm. So let's just start from the bottom here, okay? If I get on independent playlists, that's great. But if I'm also a playlist curator, not only am I controlling the streams because I've learned how to market my music with Facebook and Instagram ads, but I'm also getting paid to listen to music, but then my streams are going up and I'm a part of other artists' playlists. Okay, which is really powerful. And when you're beside other artists that are in your genre, then that really affects you sound like artists. And I want to be beside artists that are really dope and in my genre. The second method is TikTok and short form content. Now, we've heard so many times, okay, yeah, keep posting, but it's really important to post the right way. We don't want to say, hey, my new song is out, or my new song just dropped this Friday, or pre-save my new song. We don't want to start our messaging out like that. We want to start out with I wrote this song because I struggled with addiction. This is going out to anyone who's feeling heartbreak during Valentine's. I grew up without a father. Can anyone relate to that? Or I went through this struggle. You might relate to this. I wrote this song because, if you're in a dark place right now, this might be the song that you need, right? And we want to start out with the story and why we wrote it, right? I've really talked about my dad a lot, obviously, because I lost him at 5 years old. It was very tragic. I could talk about how I was overweight. I could talk about, the heartbreak I went through. And it's up to you to decide how vulnerable you want to be. But I'll tell you this, people will relate to your struggle so much more than they'll relate to your success. And so be willing to be vulnerable because that's what makes a connection, right? And isn't that what we do and how we build relationship with friends? whether it's your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your spouse, the more they get to know you, they feel more of a connection. You feel like you know them and you build this bond. So the more I share my story online, I'm building a bond. They feel like they know me. Like, how many YouTubers do you watch or people, famous people, and you've read or you know all these things about them, and it's like you feel like you know that person, right? It's such a powerful thing. The third thing is strategic collaborations and features. And I talk about this on my Spotify 5-day challenge. It's actually on the CD, is my song Impossible. It's one of my most biggest songs ever. You know, we've got millions and millions of streams. It's been a game changer for me. And it was a collaboration, not just with the producer, but with a featured artist that helped write the song. They're on the song. I'm on the song. And I really want to say that, you know, we want to get featured artists on our songs to tap into their monthly listeners, of course. But it's not just that. It could be their social media. It could be their network, their booking agents, their management. Maybe they're on a certain festival you're trying to get on. You want to write down again, why do I want to collaborate with this artist? And it should be more than just exposure. Like, you really want to line it up where you want to work with them because of the artistic side, but then also you can be strategic with your marketing as well too. Those things go together. And when you have two great artists that come together, you're going to make magic. But you got to understand, now you're going to show up on their Spotify profile. Now you're going to show up on their YouTube, on all the different streaming platforms. You know, maybe they'll email out their list and you'll email out your list. You'll do a collaboration post together. And I like to say this because the Bible says this. It says, if one can chase 1,000, two can chase 10,000. I also like to say that, you know, I'd rather have 50% of a watermelon than 100% of a grape. I'm willing to share of the pie, or I'm willing to take my wallet out and pay for the feature. I definitely would rather have equity, right? So like here's the strategy. Really, if you want a feature, I'd be more willing to pay for it as opposed to giving up the equity. You know, as long as it's not crazy, but you might not have the money. So you need to trade the equity, right? As you're building. But I'll tell you this, man, like, a song is going to pay you for life. Like, when did the CD come out? The CD came out in 2006. Okay, so it's 20 years ago. And these songs are still making me money. Not necessarily from the CD, because when we made the CD, Spotify didn't exist. Heck, it says MySpace on the back here, right? But we didn't know that streaming would revolutionize the music industry and keep working when I'm not. The only way I originally made money off of these songs was touring or having CDs in the stores. I didn't know one day the format would change, and now I'm earning what I call Swiss dollars, which is streams while I sleep soundly, or I like to say sales while I sleep soundly. How many of y'all want some Swiss dollars? Well, what I talk about on our Spotify Masterclass and the Spotify Challenge is that, you know, you want to do work that pays you over and over again. You know, I did hundreds and hundreds of shows performing these songs, right? But I only got paid once. But I continue to get paid for this song that I wrote over and over and over and over again. And if I had known that, if I could go back in time, I was even sharing with a buddy, if I could go back in time, I would have wrote more songs and toured less. Because it was like 80-20 for me. It was 80% touring, 20% writing. And if you're a touring musician, you know that. You tour your face off and you promote the record. And then you get back in the studio for a short period of time and then you do another one, right? The next thing I want to share, and this is number 4, is Facebook and Instagram ads. Okay, you need to be marketing 24/7. If you don't like posting online with the organic, okay, dial that back a little bit. You still got to post. You need something, because it's like, we want to blow up. We want people to find us. Well, how are they going to connect? How are they going to find you, right? Like, if I get stoked about you, what am I going to do? I'm going to look you up, and there's no posts at all? Okay, so you got to post something, but then when you find those posts, you want to take the best ones and you want to run ads to it. Those best posts maybe become Spotify Canvas or Spotify Clips, right? Or YouTube Shorts, right? You want to figure out which one. And I'm talking about just like short form content, right? I'm not talking about making a music video. I'm talking about little dope clips of your music, and then you take those 20 to 30-second video clips and you run ads to them. But where do I run them to, Chris? Well, you run them to a Spotify playlist. Okay, you run them to a playlist. And then you do retargeting ads to your merch. Okay, here's one of our merch. We got done a custom hat embroidered on, we used Alibaba for that. Okay, and retarget them to your merch, or to buy tickets to your show if you perform, or maybe to your Patreon or your fan club. Success is not overnight. Okay, J.K. Rowling faced 12 rejections before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. Okay, Oprah was fired as a news anchor, is now worth $2.8 billion. Okay, Michael Jordan missed 9,000 shots on his way to becoming the greatest of all time. Okay, one more for you. Steven Spielberg rejected from film school 3 times before becoming a legendary director. Okay, last one, and I shared this on a different video. Jelly Roll. The dude was in jail from 16 to 24 years old. He's one of the most popular country rap artists. He's freaking killing the game, making a huge impact. Your story's not done yet. You're still writing it. So write through those pains, write through those hard times. I want to encourage you to never give up. God's got a plan. He's got a purpose for your life. Whether you believe in him or not, Jeremiah 29:11 says he's got a plan for you to give you a hope and a future. He loves you. He believes in you. You just got to believe in yourself to take another step.